Shut up and sit down.
So we are going to service the Citroen C1 Mark 1, same platform as the Toyota Aygo and Peugeot 107. Step 1. Remove the oil cap to release air pressure. Check for any white gunk that might be in the cap that will indicate water in the engine. Slowly put the cap back on, one twist just to keep the air pressure relieved. Jack your car up, preferably use axle stands to elevate the front of the car, as the sump of the car is designed for the oil to drain better with the front elevated. Repeat both sides. Feasible to use WD-40 to help release the sump nut or sump plug. Use a 14mm socket to gently release your sump plug and then hand loosen with your oil tray in place. Drain the oil. This will be very time consuming to make sure every little bit of oil gets out of your car. So go have a cup of tea, and when drained, take the next step. Your oil filter might be quite stiff and not come off from hand loosening. If this is the case, use a good screwdriver, bash it through with a hammer all the way through until you can tighten it and then hand loosen. Again, oil tray in place and leave for a bit of time to drain. Once drained, place your sump plug back into the car, preferably use the new one that came with your kit after a clean-up as well. Hand tighten with the 14mm socket, hand tighten only. We need to prime the new oil filter with some oil. 1 quart into the oil filter and wipe around the rim. Then placing back into the car, hand tighten again only. Next we need to remove the air box. Remove all clips and make sure all pipe clips are loose so you can pull the box off in one go with pipes intact. Making sure the back is released, and then you can see your old oil air filter. Next, release the coil plugs on top of the spark plugs. Release these with a size 10 socket. Keep these screws safe as we need to use them again, and then we can take the plugs off. Do not worry about the alignment of the plugs because they can't go back in any other place than where they came from, as the cables connected to them will not allow them go into any other place. So you will not get this wrong. When removing the spark plugs, if you use a 16mm socket, be sure to spray it with WD-40 as these can get stuck. I find a 17mm socket works just as fine for tightening and loosening spark plugs, and you can use the coils to help, once they're loosened, lift them out of the engine bay. This seems to work better for me. Please note the difference in the spark plugs. The old ones seem to work well, but look at the gap in between the new spark plug and the old spark plug. This will keep you going through the winter. And if you do this every 12 months, it will keep your car starting well. Replace your new spark plugs by dropping them into the engine bay, as so, and then hand tighten with your 17mm or 16mm plug. Once all are tightened, you come up with the wrench, hand tighten again only. Should work fine. Replace your coil plugs. As I say, they can't get mixed up as the leads are just the same. Replace the nuts, and again tighten them up, but hand tight only, as things always get hot in the engine and things get tighter otherwise. It's time to fill your oil up. 3.1 litres of 5W30 or 5W40 oil works well with this engine. Put your cap back on, tighten, and then it's your air filter. Place your new air filter in the top of the air box that you had removed, with the smallest spikes sticking into it, and it makes it easier to put the whole box in place. Once the box is in place, all holes and pipes are connected. Just give it another push to make sure, connect the clips, jump in the car, close the doors, press and hold the trip meter reset button. Turn on the ignition, keep the trip meter reset button pressed down. Hold the trip meter reset button for 10 seconds, then turn off the ignition. And you're ready to put your car back on the road. Job done.
Shut up and sit down.